Okay, so let's see here. How to cook lo mein. I got my gloves on. We got Brooklyn lo mein from New York City. It's a Twin Marquee brand. You want to boil water extremely warm. Put some peanut oil in it, not sesame, and then this is the part that everyone messes up. You don't boil it right, and then you don't put it under cold water right. Fix that. There we go. So you got the water going. You're gonna get up the fresh lo mein, and this stuff's about 2 feet long. This one here is semi-frozen. I just gotta find the center of it. It's right about there. Anyhow, it's almost 2 feet long of strands. So you first want to cut it in half, the fresh lo mein. And by the way, this is only 1 pound, but it makes about 3/4. This part here, that's semi-frozen. The rest, these are all like 12-inch strands, by the way. We're going to boil them. And we're going to boil them here for a good, probably at least 6 minutes. We'll pause it now and I'll show you what happens afterwards. So we got it boiling now. Well, the boil kind of went down, but anyways, we got to boil this for a good 6 minutes. And then we're going to rinse it off in super cold water and soak it, and then we're going to dry it. Now this is the part where you really got to use enough water. You got to have it on very high heat. You want to have a rolling boil. No salt needed, but you want to have a super hot rolling boil before you pop this stuff in. And what most people do is they either undercook it or they don't use enough water. So all you're getting is a whole bowl full of gluten and it turns into a big jello mess. So this here has been going for about 6.5 minutes. It's practically done. What we're going to do next is rinse it off, strain it, put it in cold water, freezing cold water, and then drain all the water off. So it just basically finishes cooking itself. But you want to test it a little bit like this. If it comes out a little bit rubbery and slips right off, it's perfectly done. You do not want anything mushy. If this stuff falls apart, you might as well just toss it in the garbage because you're done. This right here is done. We're turning this off and we're going right to the strainer and then into cold water. Now this is where I said rinsing's the best part. What you basically got to do, turn this off, you got to strain this stuff first, then you got to rinse it with about at least 5 pans full of freezing cold water. Watch. Just wear some gloves because your hands get kind of oily. My dad got me a 100-pack of these cooking gloves. They're freaking amazing. Anyways, this is not like spaghetti. This is not semolina. This is wheat flour. So if you don't rinse it good, you're going to have nothing but a hot mess of just like a big gelatin glob. And you want to wait till the water runs clear too. This is freezing cold water. I'll turn it off so you can hear me, but we're just getting all the leftover glutens and everything that's kind of cooking out of this pan. Actually, at this point, I don't even need a strainer. It just kind of doesn't really fall out of the pan. But the point is, cool it down and get all of the leftover wheat and stuff out of the water. Because if you don't, you're going to have a huge jello mess when you go to cook it. Trust me. So it's about the 8th time now. The water's all clear. The noodles are freezing cold. You go like that there, that there. Now, before we throw this into a little plate to dry, this is when you coat it with some oil, especially peanut oil. So you use about that much. Toss it around a little bit. You can put a tiny bit of sesame oil in. Just basically cover all the noodles, and then we're going to throw it into a drying pan. And we're going to let this actually sit for a good 20 or 30 minutes before we even stir fry it. Because you got to let the water soak in and then drain off some excess water. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I said you got to flip it around with some peanut oil. You basically want to cover everything because it's already cooked and these noodles are freezing cold right now. There we go. We're going to throw them in the pan here, or the platter. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just kind of like block the top like this. You don't need to, because most of the time I'm just over like on the side drinking beer with my dog or playing the piano, and I'll have this stuff just sitting here for the next hour drying out. But nothing sticks together. Just let it dry out for a bit. Flip it around. Oops. Like that. This thing is good to go. You can let it sit for this like that overnight. But that's how you cook a lo mein noodle, especially a wheat noodle. You got to super boil the water, throw it in for a good 6 to 7 minutes, and then rinse it off about 8 times, and then cool it down with freezing cold water, drain it, oil it, and throw it out to dry. Before we start to actually stir fry this, we're going to make the sauce and let it kind of soak. So we're going to dab some sesame oil in here. Not even a teaspoon. This stuff's very, very strong. A little bit of peanut oil, but it doesn't matter because you're going to have peanut oil in the frying pan, and everything tastes like peanut oil anyway. Now this is the key ingredient for lo mein, oyster sauce. You always want to just eyeball it. I'd say like probably 2 to 3 tablespoons. You want to keep a lot of oyster sauce in there, and then white pepper. Just dash in some white pepper like that. Never use black pepper, it just tastes horrible. And then you can use fresh garlic. I'm just using the can for tonight. You know, like a tablespoon of garlic or so. Put that over there. And then for ginger, I usually do it fresh, but I'm really in a lazy mood lately, so I only got ½ teaspoon of cut ginger. Now as far as soy sauce goes, always Kikkoman. Do not get that stupid La Choy brand. I'd say just a tiny dab because you really want it to be thick. You just want it to be thick, but not watery. And then when it comes to the wine, if you want it to taste like takeout lo mein, you got to use a sherry wine from the liquor store. But I ran out, so we're going to use just Chinese cooking wine. Just a tiny bit. Typically, I always throw like sherry wine in the wok when I'm frying it. It just has a good, sweet, buttery smell. Not this one, not the Yu brand, but just American sherry is fine. I'm going to stir it up a little bit. So this is what your lo mein sauce looks like. You're just going to let it sit for like 20 minutes. And we're actually not even going to put it in the pan. We're going to put this on the noodles and the vegetables after they're fried, and then we're going to stir fry it all together. That's the secret part that nobody knows about, except for me. Okay. Now, this is the next part. When it comes to the vegetables, which is vegetable lo mein, this is still drying over here. The pan's just sitting there. We got a couple of different vegetables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, one of them is seafood. We got celery here. We got some snow peas, and then we got carrots, which I diced with my handy dicer on little fancy Chinese slices. But anyways, we got the hard stuff in this bowl and the soft stuff here, which is baby bok choys or bean sprouts or Napa cabbage, usually white vegetables which cook very, very fast. We don't care about color in this household. It's about hard versus soft. So you're gonna stir fry the hard stuff probably for a good 4 minutes until it singes and burns. You want to get a smoke going because people, they wonder why things don't taste like Chinese food. It's because they don't smoke it enough and they don't flash cook it, which is like kind of burning it when you're flipping it. And then we got some imitation crab, and this is the baby bok choy. This is going very last. You throw this in at the very end with the mushrooms and bean sprouts or gnocchi mushrooms. But this stuff here we're going to singe. I'll show. Okay, so this is where you do the hard vegetables here. We got the oil frying. Hard stuff here. In you go. My little stirs right here. We got this cranked up to high. Yeah, get it coated pretty good with peanut oil. And we're gonna singe this stuff really good. I don't have a gas stove. The gas stoves is much better for frying because the heat is so high. You just flip it and it cooks practically in the air. This one here, not so much. Anyways, we're gonna singe this until it gets burnt. I won't show you the whole thing, but we'll leave it at that for now. That's the hard vegetables. they're going to get burnt for the next 4 minutes. Okay, so now that we got the hard vegetables cooked, we're going to put them over here to the side. And we're going to cook the soft ones next, which means the lobster and the baby bok choys. And also, this is the time when you throw in a little bit of what do you call it? Throw in, what's the term? Bean sprouts. Anything really soft. You're going to get this stuff going. You don't want to cook it a whole lot because when you put the noodles on top, which are really warm, everything's going to cook on the bottom. So that part there is going to cook really good. We'll toss in the other ones we started. Way too much noise. Okay, that's going in the sink. I got another one over here. See, I can smell it burning. That's what you want to smell, is like the charcoal flavor burning. That's where you get the flavor from. It's getting there. Put that over there. It's getting there. Okay. So I got this shit over here pretty much burned up a little bit. Throw it in there. Actually, I might have burned it too much, but that's what you want. And then we'll go on to the noodles next. Okay, final part. Next part's the noodles. We got them all right here all fluffed up. We're going to singe these really well. Fuck that. There we go. And by the way, there's not much water in these suckers at all, because we strained them really good earlier. We're just burning all the edges. That's all we're doing. Now, while this burns, we'll get back to the sauce we had earlier, which is right here. You ready? There we go. The noodles are brown. Toss in the vegetables, which are already cooked, and throw it all together. Now my wok is not big enough. I gotta get like a 3-footer or a 36-incher, whatever. You're gonna lose a lot of stuff on the side if you don't have a big enough pan. Like, this shit's flying everywhere. But what I'm trying to do is burn the bottom, but pull it off before it gets really burnt, just to get that charcoal smell going. Yeah. It's pretty much there. When you got a small wok, you got to kind of do small batches. Noodles first, vegetables first. It doesn't all fit in the same pan. But you can hear this shit cooking pretty good. And it's kind of it's getting brown on the bottom, so we're going to pull it off here. Throw it over here a little bit. There we go. See? This wok is way too small. Way too small. I wish I had a restaurant style wok. Pause that for 1 second to clean up my fuck. Now this is what you end up with. You got some nice charcoal burns here on the carrots and the celery. Yeah, some little burns up there. But really, it worked out pretty good. Yeah, look at that. Just like a restaurant, nothing gooey. You got a little burn there on the celery. Oh, by the way, when you do celery, do not use the flour part on the end. Always cut that off, otherwise everything tastes like chicken soup. Do not use the floury part of the celery. And that's lobster lo mein with fake lobster.